The Indian invasion of the West has come. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another Rome Total War Divide et Impera multiplayer campaign battle. We are back once again, and this time we're going to be going ahead and checking out a battle we had from Darren's perspective. So if you guys don't know, me and Republic of Play are currently playing an online multiplayer campaign on Divide et Impera, whereas I'm playing as Macedon, and we saw the epic siege of Pella not a week ago, which I highly recommend you go check out. I'll leave a link down below in the description or at the end of this video so you can go ahead and check it out, because the battle, oh my god, for those of you who watched it, for those of you who lived the days live, you will know just how insane that battle actually was. So we went ahead and saw that from my point of view over on that campaign, and now we're taking a look at a battle from Darren's point of view as he does push into the west and try and take on and secure the lands of Baktria. So that's currently who he's at war with. In this engagement, he has actually been engaged upon, and we'll actually play on slow-mo, let things kind of roll out a bit. So he has actually been engaged upon by the Bactrian armies. Darren is actually currently defending in this battle, as his Indian armies have been kind of caught out a little bit. However, this is going to be one hell of a battle. As you can see there, my forces, I'm controlling these units. And for those of you who don't know, in a multiplayer campaign head-to-head, you go ahead and take control of the AI army. So whenever Darren fights the AI, I will be taking control of that army, and vice versa. Whenever I fight the AI as Macedon, Darren will then control that army, which goes ahead and makes the game so much more interesting and difficult, because it means you can't just quickly dispatch, 10 AI stacks and then move on, because you actually have to worry about you losing your army, because you're playing against an actual player who won't do dumb stuff like the AI does. He won't just run under pikes. He will play around that and try and find ways to defeat that. I will say at the beginning of this battle, because these battles are obviously part of a campaign, there's a lot more story to them, and I really do enjoy that. So, because of that, the armies are never going to be as balanced as, say, a multiplayer battle. You're going to have units that have, a one-sided advantage. You're going to have armies that are much more professional, and this is kind of the case. This is the first time Darren's really trying out his Indian army against an army of the enemy, and this Bactrian army, I will say it right now, is goddamn elite. I was licking my lips when I got to control this army, because it is honestly really goddamn good. We have, I believe, 9 of these Bactrian pikes, and they're very heavy pike phalanx as well. They're not just like light pike phalanx. They're really strong. These guys are just one hell of a front line, and it's really important that these guys are good, because you have to absorb missile fire with pikes in Divide et Impera, so it's always good when they are really strong. We also see a little bit of a small engagement out here as Darren's reinforcement army actually comes on behind me, which was nice, and he actually did try to rush forward a unit of cavalry. However, as Baktria, I have kind of like Hellenic units, and you can see the Bactrian cavalry coming in, and these guys are just super heavy shot cavalry, so I'm really happy that I'm going to be able to get this charge off on his unit, and I go ahead and slam into the the back of these somewhat light Indian cavalry. I believe this cavalry is not that heavy yet. It looks like skirmisher cavalry more than anything. Oh no, that's my cavalry. So where's Darren? Oh, so Darren looks like he has mace cavalry, which will get, I guess, smashed on the charge, but win over time against my other units here. I mean, look at them kills. That's like 10, 15 kills already. So my main plan here was to delay Darren's forces and try and take out a unit of cavalry as I retreat up to meet my reinforcements that are coming on from the north. And also this gives me a bit of a high ground advantage as well, which is nice. But yeah, as I was saying before we, that little bit of action happened, each of these battles have consequences. So if Darren loses his army here in the campaign, then this basically means it sets him back time. He can't just advance and push through the enemy. It'll allow the Bactrians to build up more soldiers. And I think at this point, the Bactrians had quite a few armies. So this battle is extremely important for Darren. And if he doesn't win this battle here, it's going to set him back, 20, 30 turns. Because he's going to have to rebuild up his army, he's going to regain the population, which again is so important. You'll see this, I'll mention this throughout all these videos in Divide et Impera. Whenever there is a big battle on the frontier of your empire, in Divide et Impera you have to worry about population, and obviously you know, every single man that I get to kill against Darren is one less person he can recruit in his army, and that's going to take him 10-15 turns to replenish, you know, an entire army worth of men. So that's, again, just another really cool thing that makes these online battles really, really good. And I should mention as well that we play these battles every Tuesday, and we play these campaigns every Tuesday and Thursday over on Twitch TV. Again, I'll leave a link down below in the description. So if you want to see these battles live, then go ahead and join it. It's really, really good fun. Lots of exciting engagements. We had some epic battles in the last stream, which you'll be seeing on the channel in the near future, and yeah, it'd be really, really exciting to see that. So I'm using the Bactrian cavalry right now just to smash away at Darren's horse. You know, even though they are heavy melee cavalry, they're not going to stand up against Bactrian cavalry. And I'm also bringing in these javelin cav as well, just to try and whittle this down. I also decided to bring up a unit of hoplites as well. I know they're going to end up dying, but it's kind of like, this is a sacrifice I'm willing to make here if I can nullify Darren's cavalry advantage, because, you know, Darren does have a lot of cavalry in this battle, and this is the first battle we've had, again, as I keep on saying, with this Indian army, and I've never played Baktria before as well, which is, again, a really cool thing about these head-to-heads, is you get to play these factions and armies that you've never would have played in the campaign before. And it's always exciting to try and, you know, feel out what their army's good at. I mean, this Bactrian army is pretty straightforward. It has a line of fat-off pikes, and then, you know, some infantry to move around the side in numbers. But, you know, for Darren, he's really feeling out his army here. He's really seeing what's good about it, what's bad about it, but also trying to win. Because an interesting thing about the Indian faction in Divide et Impera is they start off in, like, the far reaches of the desert down in the northeast of the map, or southeast of the map. More than anything else, and Darren's coming in with some of his Indian swordsmen now, just to, you know, finish off my hoplites here. This hoplite unit is holding very well, considering it's not in a hoplite formation. It's just sword and shield. They've pulled out their swords. They're actually doing a great job against Darren's infantry at the moment. So I've managed to form up basically my entire pike line now fairly effectively. I have noticed that this Bactrian army does not have a lot of missiles, so that's going to be kind of unfortunate. One of the things you really want to have in these battles is a lot of missiles when you've got a pike line, because it helps nullify the enemy pike advantage. But I mean, look at them. Oh my god, that is just so sick seeing them pikes. So yeah, I know that for a fact that I have a lot. I also have some horse archers on the left-hand side, which I'm going to be using just to harass his missiles. Again, I know Darren has, besides my general, I know Darren has the cavalry advantage. So I'm going to be trying to pick away with my horse archers as best as I can. Just basically trying to nullify this. I'm also trying to focus down this unit right here. Oh, that's the cavalry, actually. Yeah, and I'm also going to be trying to focus down this unit right here. These guys are the heavy macemen of India. They're great armor piercing and shock infantry, which is just going to, you know, devastate a phalanx or a pike unit in the side. So I'm going to try and take these guys down as much as I can. Also, these guys come from, I believe, the elite population, so like the first class, the noble population of India. So, and that grows extremely slowly. So again, every single one of these guys I can kill is actually really impactful in Darren's empire, and so that's kind of really kind of useful. We'll slow-mo again just to quickly watch the two armies, you know, get ready to collide and get a few things underway. So we do have some light spearmen on Darren's front line, and this is something we quickly found out in Darren's campaign as India. He doesn't really have a frontal holding unit like, you know, the Bactrians or as Macedon me. You know, I have pikes, I have phalanxes, whereas Darren has a lot more light spears, and he kind of needs to engage the front lines and then use his numbers to come around the side and back to hit away and take out the pikes, you know. And Darren's going to be doing a great job here. He's going to be reinforcing his army, so his secondary army is coming in with a lot of missiles. He's going to be pulling away. He doesn't want to kind of engage with phalanx, obviously. I mean, just look at that phalanx from the get-go. You can see it going off into the goddamn distance. It's it is a thick with two C's. It really is. And Darren's going to be pulling back his main line, not wanting to engage this, you know, heavy Bactrian line, and then using his archers to shoot me in the side. When I saw this, it was actually pretty scary, but I feel like it was something I needed just to take. There's not really much I can do about it. I'm still trying to reform over this right flank as Darren's army is approaching me. You know, he's got a lot of spearmen with a lot of javelins and swords. You know, these guys don't necessarily have a lot of armor, but they're good warriors. They're good attacking soldiers. So if they can get into the side and flanks, you know, they'll do a lot of damage. So I kind of needed to halt my front line as much as I could whilst the rest of these guys were bringing themselves over. You can see I'm really shifting over my flank. And as the new, because we're playing with a beta patch in Divide et Impera, which they've changed a lot of the movement speed of heavy units. So this right now is the phalanx running. Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys can just tell as much as I can. This is the entire phalanx unit running as fast as it can. So this is to kind of represent that heavy units in heavy armor can't just spin around the battlefield, compared to, say, these light Bactrian axemen, which again are a really, really cool unit. However, you know, these guys can move really fast, but, you know, the phalanx can't. And I do really like that change. I'm happy that they made the change. I think it's currently being, you know, fine-tuned and stuff, but it's still cool nonetheless. So yeah, I'm just trying to get all these heavy units into position before committing this phalanx. But I also know that I want to put pressure on, and I want to get these pikemen engaged in Darren's back and front line, because, you know, pikemen versus light spearmen is going to go in my favor. And it's just kind of protecting my flanks, making sure he doesn't envelop me, because I think India has some of the best shock units in the game. It's just they're kind of struggling with the units to hold everyone in place whilst they do that. And oh my god, look at that. This unit is like only just started to rout. How crazy is that? The very heavy pike, very heavy phalanx is just unreal. Again, I'm just using my horse archers to harass. I'm trying to stay out of range of these bowmen, because I believe these are longbowmen, and they have some insane range. Can we see that? Yeah, so these guys have 215 range. They basically have as much range as a Rhodian slinger unit, but they're longbows, which is goddamn amazing. So it means they just have a ton more ammunition, I believe. I'm not sure, actually. Maybe Rhodian slinger's ammunition is a lot higher. But either way, that's really, really good for a longbow unit to be that strong. Again, I'm continuing to try and put this pressure on. I'm filtering my flank. Now, one of the things, again, I was really scared of is Darren trying to make a beeline and envelop me. But again, that's not necessarily that great, because, you know, then I can outflank him. But it wouldn't have been a bad idea to try and disrupt my battle line by doing that. You know, maybe trying to stick in, because, again, I have a lot of these slow, heavy phalanxes which are moving in. So, you know, it's really up to Darren to try and outmaneuver me in this battle rather than try and fight me head on. And again, he's doing a great job of just, you know, pulling back his infantry, shooting me. However, it's going to come to a point where I can catch him, and, you know, if he wants to carry on doing this, he can, but he's going to have to start making sacrifices, because now that my army's in position, now that I've got this right flank somewhat secure, I can be really, really aggressive now. I can push heavy without having to worry about anything clashing into my side. You can see as well, this pike unit right here has been whittled away by the archer fire. It really, really has gone down. And the numbers are going to start going down pretty heavily. But again, I'm really happy that I've got this flank kind of secured. I am pretty nervous, though, about these elephants. These elephants are going to be pretty strong. Granted, these are the lightly armored elephants, and they're already wounded from a previous, I think, attrition or battle. So I'm not super scared of these guys, but the Indian faction has amazing elephants, especially the heavily armored ones, who take multiple shots. Well, I mean, I don't know, but I assume they take a ton of damage to kill, as we haven't seen them quite yet in the campaign. But, you know, yeah, I am kind of scared of the elephants, as I know the Indian elephants are really good. I mean, even Hannibal had elephants, maybe not elephants from India, but I know he had elephant trainers from India, and they were kind of the riders of the elephant. I'm not sure if they were actually Indian elephants or not, but yeah, you know, that's like the quality of Indian elephants. And I'm going to be, whenever I come as Macedon to fight Darren, that's going to be super scary. So again, Darren is just peppering away on my front line, doing a great job at whittling down. But because I've got 9 units of pikes, and I'm in a really, really dense formation, because I've got 9 or so units of pikes, I can go 5 or 6 ranks deep. I think I'm even like 7 ranks deep, which makes a phalanx so much more stronger, so much more impenetrable. Because something you got to keep in mind, I could stretch out the unit really, really wide. However, I'll only have 1 or 2 pikes attacking the enemy. Whereas this way, I have 7 or so pikes pushing away at the enemy, so that I can kill people who are far away and also close to me. Because one of the really, really vulnerable things about pikes is when you get up close and personal. But if I've got the unit, you know, 6 ranks deep, hitting away at the people close, protecting the front line, it makes a phalanx work so much more efficiently, and really, really, you know, hard to take that down. So I'm getting shot a bit over on this right-hand side, or this left-hand side. The missiles are causing me some issues, and it's showing the strength of the longbows, as I'm getting kind of close to losing one of my units of cavalry. The right flank has also engaged, so this was really nice for me. The fact that I managed to get some light units over here, which I think is very, very necessary for this entire battle to work. I managed to get these light units over on this right-hand side, which then engaged this flank. And when this flank was engaged, it meant that Darren couldn't just run away with his front line, because if he ran away with his front line, he'd leave this portion of his army completely exposed. So that's why it's so efficient having these light units to kind of force the engagement, allowing the pikes to then move forward and engage that front line and do what they do best. Because, you know, if Darren runs away now, if he pulls away from this battle, he's going to get completely outflanked. I'm going to be able to kill all of this and then take on the rest of his army quite effectively. Here we go as well. The pikes have now engaged. I decided to go more in for a melee engagement here along the pike line. And then I think I put my pikes down in a second. Because this way, you know, I take more damage because now Darren can hit me rather than me keep him at distance. But this way, it stops him from running away. And if he does want to run away, he takes more damage. And there you go, the pikes just drop down. You know, obviously, realistically, I would get slaughtered if I tried to do that. But, you know, in the game, it just kind of works as a mechanic. And I do get punished for it. I take more casualties. It allows him to hit me more. And now this was a big engagement. Darren pushes over his Indian cavalry over on this right-hand side. And again, they're melee cavalry. I quickly see this and see that he's kind of left them by themselves. I'm bringing over spearmen to help out in this fight. And I'm just going to decide to throw my very heavy shot cavalry into the front of these guys. And I catch them stationary, which is huge. And I'm just going to be able to rip through a few of these lines, and then I'm going to come in from every flank. Now, I am coming in from every flank with horse archers, and these guys are pretty goddamn trash, but it's more of the morale issue. I'm trying to take these guys out, and I know that this heavy Greek general will hold, because I have a similar variant with my Macedonian cavalry, so I kind of have a good feel for this army already, as I've been mainly using pikes and stuff. And with, you know, one of the major things in Divide et Impera is morale, and, you know, me and Darren have played long enough to know that you can just absolutely smash someone by, you know, coming in from every single flank. And you can already see I'm starting to cause massive routing with this cavalry. It's just breaking from the sheer amount of, you know, units being surrounded. Darren is bringing over his elephants, and elephants are really effective against cavalry, so I do have to be kind of cautious over here, especially with the archer fire as well. I'm losing a lot of my horse archers, and Darren's going to quickly commit infantry as well. The pike fight, though, is going very nicely for me. You know, this is exactly what we want to have happen, is this pike engagement. I mean, again, look at that as well. Just seeing it off in the distance is so amazing. It really, really is. So Darren is going to try and fall back here. You know, he's seen that, you know, this pike engagement is not going in his favor. He's taken several casualties, and now he's going to try and retreat. But obviously, trying to retreat and pull out of these battles, he's going to lose men. I'm going to be able to get the push off on him, and I'm going to be able to charge. Also, look how awesome the Bactrian general, or like commander of the unit, looks. I mean, he's a bit out of place there, but he looks cool nonetheless. And I'm immediately going to pursue him. I think this was really important to be fast with this. I'm going to immediately try and put the pressure on and just force him to go back. And as you can see, you know, this gap is starting to appear on this right-hand side. I've managed to bring over some skirmishers as well as more hoplites. And the hoplites, again, are just going to be able to beat these guys from the front. The axemen, maybe not so much, but, you know, the hoplites are going to be able to, you know, in formation, just smash through these Indian light spears. And that's going to be pretty big, you know. And I'm also trying to get around the flank here as well with some of my more lighter infantry. These guys are hitting the dudes on the side. And it's mainly just holding them in place whilst the hoplites do their thing. And again, I have like a nice portion of men over here. And I can just see I'm slowly winning there. I'm slowly winning in the center as I brought up more pike phalanxes. And I feel like this just looks so cool. I'm one for like fat off pike phalanxes. I really, really am. You know, especially in like Alexander, when you see the Battle of Gargamel and you just see all the pike, you know, phalanxes moving forward. It just looks so cool just seeing, you know, these blocks of pikes pushing forward. However, I do start to get a bit outflanked here, which was nice by Darren. Managed to slowly start to abuse the gaps, because as you can see, gaps are appearing in my phalanx line. You know, the pike wall is not completely sustainable. We see right here as well, Darren attempts to bring over his general over in this fight. However, I'm throwing over my own men, and I think I managed to scare him off right now. I was pretty scared of this, but it does look like Darren is going to, you know, try and save his general here. Because again, I think this is his king right here. So there's so much more at value than just, oh, this is my general, he can be thrown away. A lot of the time, the generals are, you know, important party figures that if they die, they go down. I also get a brutal javelin throw on his general there, killing like 10 dudes. But, you know, if he loses a general that's from another party, that's going to hurt his political standing. If he loses his king, that's going to hurt his gravitas. Like, there's so much more at stake than just, you know, a simple There's so much more at stake than just a simple, like, oh, this is just a general, it doesn't matter what happens. Also, look how awesome these Indian elephants look as they just, row into my line, like archers on top. And I will go over to this flank as well. Sorry, for some reason when I take a screenshot, it does that. Pushes me over on the other side. I need to change that keen binding. But it just looks really, really cool seeing all of these guys clash. And as we can notice right here, he's doing a great job. Like, all my horse archers are being slaughtered right now. However, I have managed to bring up my javelins, and I'm going to be focusing down the elephants. I've managed to make them rampage, which is pretty goddamn big. So they're going to be rampaging, and he won't be able to control them. However, they are pretty much in effect. I don't know what this general unit's doing. And again, I've managed to just put up so much pressure on this front line. We'll go on to normal. Sorry, I didn't realize we were playing on slow speed the entire time. I mean, there was a lot going on. It was kind of a fast battle more than anything else. But we'll go on to normal speed now and watch the rest of it kind of pan out as the pikes push forward. It just looks so awesome. Like, it just honestly does. I love thick pike walls. Really, really do. And it does look like I'm starting to break here. I'm trying to get over some of my hoplites, but again, they're so slow. It's really, really hard to do so. But Darren's going to break this place through, and he can basically start to envelop me, my pike wall. Because again, him retreating back has disrupted my pike line somewhat. I think what would be really, really good if Darren did against pikes, I don't know if I want to say this because he might see this and we'll probably pick it up, is stagger his battle line when, like, to engage on a front line and then stagger it back bit by bit so that the gaps appear in my line. And that would really take me off, well, not take me off guard, but it'd really go ahead and disrupt my battle plan. Because, this entire thing just kind of broke a second too late. If they could have held for another minute in the center, then this unit had broken through, right? Darren's infantry had got round the back and it finally enveloped this unit of pikes. Now this unit of pikes is going to start getting cut down. But it was just them couple minutes too late to really be that effective. And then he could have chain pushed on me, brought his cavalry through now that the pike wall is kind of dispersed. I mean, this is because the battle is kind of going in my favor now, so I'm rallying forward. I've managed to smash the right flank with all my infantry. I'm just finishing up the last couple of units, pursuing his missiles down because I didn't really have any cavalry left at this point. The battle is going to go on my side. I also left a general all the way back here, which was really stupid of me. The elephants are still alive, but I think I managed to finally take them down now with a few more javelin throws. So even though I was focusing on these elephants since, 2 minutes ago, even these basic ones managed to do a really good job of surviving. I think they got a lot of kills as well, but they do go down now that they routed. It's just easy pickings. His Indian general, and again, as I said, I think this is his king. So if I can kill him, that's going to disrupt his, lower his generals, make it harder for him to advance, and smashing his army is no easy task, because in India it takes, or it's the southeast of the map, as we go into, I don't know what it would be like, no, Parthi is too high up. I don't really know what it's called, but as we go into the map, it takes up a long way to move. There's a lot of desert, there's a lot of mountain areas, and it takes Darren about 5-6 turns to go from one side of his empire to where the battle is going on. So again, just by whittling down this army, killing his king, it's going to slow him up so much. And here we go. I'm feeling quite cocky now, because one of the things, I guess, as well, for me personally, and I'm sure Darren feels the same way in these battles, is it does, like, whenever you're playing as the AI, you're kind of doing a lot more reckless stuff than you would, because you've got nothing to lose, right? When you're playing as the AI, it's not your army. You're just trying to kill and do as much damage as possible. So if you lose your general as the AI and kill his general, that's good for you, because you managed to kill one of his generals, and the AI, who cares? They'll just get another one. And then eventually, when we clash, stuff like this is going to be important. Maybe not this, because this battle was like in the first 30 odd turns. But when me and Darren's empire, do decide to go ahead and fight and clash, we're going to end up with, these generals being important. And the battles, 30, 40, 50 turns into the game, or maybe like 100 turns into the campaign, when you kill them generals, that's going to be big. It really just is wrapping up now, the battle. I've managed to basically break all of this. His general, I think his cavalry's trying to run around. He still has some men left remaining, but it's just going to be the end. I'm going to be using my javelins as well. I mean, again, this is one of the things that, I'll say, these guys are maybe causing a bit of friendly fire, but, it's kind of like, whatever, you know. I don't have to worry. The AI doesn't worry about population, I don't think. So it's kind of like, I don't have to worry about friendly fire or replenishment. The AI will sort it out. So we can kind of be a little bit more reckless, which is awesome because it means you get these more interesting battles. You really, really do. And yeah, this battle that Darren lost was huge for him. As you'll see, I don't know if you want to go back and watch the VODs, but this basically set Darren back like 20, 30, 40 turns, and he's only just recovering now. This battle was, what, 2 streams ago? Yeah, I think this battle was 2 streams ago, and he's only just recovered in the last stream we did. And kind of brought it back, because this allowed the Bactrians to bring in, I think, 3 more armies. Darren was extremely weak, and we found a valuable lesson right now. The Indians don't really have a strong frontline unit. Now, in Divide et Impera, you can replace that with area of recruitment. You know, when Darren does take out Baktria, he can go ahead and, I imagine, get some pretty good Bactrian infantry to kind of be his front line, or just get mercenaries to be his front line. However, you know, until he gets that, he's going to have to fight these professional Greek armies from Baktria with 9 pikes, which I get to control. And he's going to have to fight them with his weaker front line. He's going to have to find ways to take that down. And again, it just adds so many more interesting dynamics. Now, I do think India, yeah, they might lack a front line, but they have longbowmen who are good as Rhodian slingers. And they also have amazing shock infantry. You know, these macemen did an amazing job in the front line. They're still holding now. Yeah, these guys seem amazing, and so do the elephants. The Indian elephants, I imagine, are going to just be a pain in my backside. They're very expensive, and I imagine that's why we're not seeing more of them in Darren's army, just because they're so expensive. So yeah, I think if Darren can get these, you know, a frontline infantry for his armies, he's going to be extremely deadly. Because if he can get pikes of his own or phalanxes of his own, he's going to be able to engage them from the front. And then I'm not going to be able to smash these guys that effectively. Granted, I imagine I'll still have my archers, which will be nice. Not my archers, sorry, my cavalry. Because the Macedonian general gets 200 horses in his unit. And obviously Macedon is known for their horses. So we'll push him right now, clear up the last of his battle, and as you can see, it was a pretty clean victory for Baktria. I managed to keep most of my units alive. I did take some casualties, but I think Darren really needed a victory here. Because, again, a lot of the things in Divide et Impera, a lot of units do end up routing in the battle. So being able to regain your losses, mainly victors normally do regain the majority of their losses because the losers can't chase down units and stuff. You'll see by the kills, you know, the Bactrian army didn't actually lose that much. It mainly, you know, it mainly came from routing, the lack of troops you're seeing right now. But, you know, that was huge. That was really, really big. Oh, God, that's, I guess we won't play on triple speed just to finish off the battle. My God, why is it laggy? But that battle was just so important for Darren because now he's lost this. The Bactrians have the upper hand. Darren doesn't have an army. His army was just crushed. And now the Bactrians can move in through the desert. Now, granted, he does have time in the Indian desert. Or it's not really the Indian desert, but in the desert and the mountains. They're probably not Indian mountains either. Yeah, I think it's more west than that. But, you know, that defeat has set Darren back massively. Because now these Bactrians, again, look at these. These guys are pretty healthy. They can move on to his city, start raiding. And Darren has found out a valuable lesson that his front line cannot go, like, even close to the pikes of Baktria or the hoplites of Baktria. So it's kind of like, what does he do? And again, you know, this is expensive population for him to replenish. So once again, you know, does he have to replenish these guys? And then that drains his population and that puts him in a bad step. So it's just little or big engagements like this. There was like 16,000 men in this battle, just under. You know, engagements like this are so detrimental because whilst Darren's having to recoil from this loss and losing the upper hand to Baktria, I can then exploit this and build my empire even bigger, which puts me ahead of Darren and allows me to expand. And then Darren just lags behind and has to kind of be a bit more risky to catch up. We did change one of the rules, I think, after this battle as well. Originally, we had a rule that you could only engage an AI army one-on-one if you're being the aggressor to make for some interesting battles. But we soon came to a conclusion after this engagement that Darren's army is just not the same quality as Macedon, which is something like me and Darren had neither played the Indian army before, so we had no idea what their roster was like. And we soon came to the conclusion that was unfair for Darren because he had to deal with, you know, basically a crap infantry unit, whereas I'm dealing with, you know, very, very strong professional armies, whereas Darren's a bit more of a rabble at this point in the game. So we quickly got rid of that rule, which does help him out in the campaign somewhat over the next couple streams. But yes, that battle was awesome. It was kind of it was one-sided, I would say, with the Indians losing well over half of their army. And just, I keep on emphasizing this, but just remember, every single man that goes down has to be replaced from a I guess, a citizen class in the cities, and each city has its own one. So, you know, Darren, if he wants to maybe go from his capital, he has to march all the way back to take the people from that place to replenish these guys. Most of the time, when you're fighting, you're going to be on the front line, so you're going to be taking population from an already sparse population pool because you're on your front line. So again, just I basically made Darren have to replenish 4,870 men from his overall population, which, let me tell you, like, it takes a while to level up population in this. So, yeah, this was no minor blow for the Indian Empire. As well as that, the Bactrians got experience and they could push on and be aggressive. And this was a huge battle for Darren, and it does set him back quite a way in the campaign. So if you guys want to see these campaigns live and watch these battles, be sure to join the Twitch channel. I stream, and me and Darren both stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 PM GMT. We stream for about 5 to 6 hours. So it's definitely worth coming over. Next stream, I'm going to be going ahead and trying to take on Athens, who has 2 full stacks, as well as Knossos, which is Crete, who also has 2 stacks. So there's going to be some good battles on my side. The last stream we just did had some insanely close battles, as I got extremely cocky with my Macedonian army and tried to take on literally, you know, almost tens of thousands of Thracians. It was insane. So definitely go back and watch that VOD if you haven't over on my Twitch, but I will be uploading 2 other battles from that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, drop a like and a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know if you want to see more of these battles, and I'll see you guys in the next one.